Ladies and gentlemen, Squad Busters is here, and I have got some tips and tricks to share with you guys today. So let's get straight into this video to help you guys with your progression and get those dubs. The first tip I have for you guys is if you have not claimed the Archer Queen or Witch in your shop, do not. The Archer Queen is claimed by connecting your Supercell ID, and the Witch is unlocked by squad level 10 on your journey. But if you wait to claim them and unlock an epic chest just by playing, it will guarantee that you unlock the Barbarian King. The Archer Queen and Witch will always be there waiting for you to claim them, so once you unlock the Barbarian King, then you can go back and claim the Witch and Archer Queen. Take a look at this account here. I've played like 3 games, already have the Barbarian King, so now I am guaranteed to have all of the epics unlocked in the first world. Tip number 2 I have for you guys is to spend your gold solely on chest tickets. That is the #1 way to progress faster. I know it might look tempting to buy some of those characters in the shop. It might be tempting to buy some of those consumables like the keys or reroll tokens. And if you save up enough gold, it might even be tempting to unlock a brand new unit, but trust me, I promise you, it is a much better value to spend them on chest tickets because those will continue to allow you to get chests and unlock potentially more characters than you would have in the shop. One quick thing with that though is you want to make sure you have a win streak of at least 5 before purchasing those chest tickets. So if you don't have that win streak, play a couple matches, get that win streak, then get those chest tickets so you can increase those taps and increase your odds of getting new units, getting more units, and progressing through your squad journey. Tip number 3 I have, short and sweet, but make sure you are focusing on those weekly missions. They do offer great rewards, especially if you are a free-to-play player. Click into those weekly missions, focus on completing those, and it will probably allow you to purchase some more chest tickets and continue that progression. Now let's get into some tips about the actual gameplay. So starting off with tip number 4, which is try not to pick fights in the early to early mid game with opponents. It's gonna be tempting, especially if you're running around and it looks like they might have 1 less unit than you, or you might be at an equal power level or so, and you're like, I could probably take this fight. In the early game, it is almost never worth it because it's going to set both of you back. You're going to be wasting time, and you could be spending that time getting resources and building up your squad so you're stronger for the late game where you can take on those fights. Obviously, there's going to be some exceptions and some fights you're just clearly going to want to take or avoid, but overall, it is typically better to not fight in the very early game. Here's a couple tips for a couple game modes. Tip number 5, in game modes like Tree Giants, Loot Goblins, Whack-A-Mole, you'll want to pick Bow for the extra damage to NPCs and make sure you are getting that loot. But a tip most players don't know is actually in Tree Giants, Greg will actually deal bonus damage to the tree monsters. And tip number 6, if you get the game mode doppelgangers and you find you have Goblin in your squad, make sure you are picking him alternately between your other units. If you pick Goblin straight after picking Goblin from your last chest, only the new Goblin will count as a new unit and you will only get the gold from that one Goblin. However, if you pick Goblin, switch to entirely new units, and then go back to Goblin, every single one of those Goblins will count as a new unit and you will get the gold from every single one, so make sure you are doing it the correct way. Tip number 7 is don't just run around the entire map, but instead conserve your turbo boots, especially for the late game. I know it is a lot more fun in the early games to try and sprint around, get from chest to chest, but I promise you, sprint and turbo is absolutely necessary in the late game for attacking squads and getting away if you find yourself in a tricky situation. Tip number 8 to go right along with that is some of you don't know that using turbo actually makes you attack faster as well as running faster. So the next time you are in a fight, make sure you are holding turbo to give your units that boost of damage to help you get the edge on your opponent. Tip number 9 I have for you guys is the bomb spell not only disrupts your enemy teams, but it can be also useful for breaking carrots and trees for additional loot. So if you are in a game and you don't have Greg or Mavis and you want to use those bombs to help you get some additional gold, that can be a great way to do it. Tip number 10 I have for you guys is to use the heal spell just a couple seconds after you get into a battle to make sure you can have the surprise effect on your opponent. I see a lot of players running straight into battle, and as soon as the battle starts, you pop your heal spell and the other opponent has time to run away. Instead, if you engage in that battle for just a second and then pop your heal spell, it gives the element of surprise, heals your units back up, and gives you an edge on your opponent, allowing you to hopefully win that fight. The next tip I have for you guys is to avoid fighting if you are in first in the last few seconds of the match. I know it is so tempting to be so greedy and try to bust as many squads as you can, but the amount of times I have gotten too greedy, gone after somebody, and a couple of my units have been sniped just enough for me to lose enough gems to drop down a few places. I cannot tell you how many times that has happened. But vice versa, going right along with that, if you find yourself in the last few seconds of the match and you are in the lower half, 6 through 10 of the ranking, you want to keep that streak. I would definitely say rush anybody you can find. It might be beneficial to you to see if you can pick off 1 or 2 of those units of theirs and go for a high risk, high reward play, especially since those extra gems could bump you up 1 or 2 in the ranking and make all the difference in the last couple seconds of the game. And then the last tip of the video I have for you guys is to make sure you are using code lowercase in the shop if you pick up anything, and to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, learned anything, or you just find yourself coming back for the content. It really does help a lot. But that is gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you did learn something, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.